Please read the disclaimer. Hey, we got a lot to talk about today with XRP, with the crypto market. Hello, beautiful people. Shalom, money maker. So straight off the bat, I got some good news. Good news. We have a huge CME gap to the downside, right? So about an 8.5% gap that opened up from over the weekend. So we always talk about how we recently had gap up, right? And then those gap ups kept getting closed to the downside. Well, now we have a gap to the downside. And so theoretically, the same way we were concerned about the gap up, this should be a good thing here, a silver lining that we now have a gap down. And so that gap down could potentially be closed. It's an 8.5% gap here over the weekend, would potentially bring Bitcoin back to 85,000, somewhere around that range, 84,000. And so if we're looking at that in just that perspective, that could bring XRP right now is at $1.59 if the gap does close. Again, today we have the ISM that is coming out that we need to watch out for. We talked about that last night. Plus, we'll see pre-market right now. Stocks are not doing great. Silver is down another 8.73% at 77.8. It did drop a little lower to 71 this morning, but now has popped up a little bit. So it started out a little bit lower and has recovered. So we did see a local low here, and it's up about 9% in the last hour and 40 minutes. So silver continues to be super duper volatile, right? 9% in an hour or so, hour and a half. This used to be crypto would move like this. Now it moves like this to the downside, but not to the upside. Maybe soon, right? We'll see a nice movement like that. I'll show you towards the end of the video something very, very interesting that could create a short squeeze. So you're going to want to watch all the way to the end of the video, of course, as always. You always watch to the end, right? I know by the averages that most of you don't. Some of you do. But if the gap does close, it could get very interesting and very, very froggy, very, very fast. So we'll have to see what happens on that. We'll get to Iran in just a second. But again, the futures so far are down, and it was interesting because as soon as the futures opened, actually, we did see a sell-off on the crypto market as futures open up here. But then there was a recovery, right? So futures open up here, right? And it was getting a little froggy as futures open up. We saw a sell-off. Then a comeback, and then overnight into the end of the week, we saw happens many times. Between Sunday and Monday morning, we see the weekly candle close, and you can see about a 4.3% pullback there for Bitcoin. And XRP, similar kind of sell-off here, 4.4 in that hour, but has since then come up 4% and then pull back 4% and now come up back 4%. So right now, right, it's interesting. Right now, we're seeing XRP at 159, but we were at 152 just an hour and a half ago. And maybe by the time you're watching this video, we're up another 4% or down another 4%. This is just how the crypto market is right now. It's very, very choppy, very, very volatile, because I think people don't know, and investors don't really know where the market is going here, how the market is going to react this morning, what the ISM is going to be. And so that's creating a little bit of volatility. It's very easy, again, to manipulate the price when there's not a lot of volume, when there's not a lot of big orders coming in. And we know that the algorithms, the algos, they can manipulate the situation. Now, before we continue, right, I just want to do a little bit of, it's Monday morning. I want to do a little bit of recap on what happened last week. Okay, so before we move forward, we need to remember a little bit the past, right? So let's just remember what happened. Okay, last week. We'll go through this quick. Assets broke down one day at a time. Monday, the Russell 2000 fell sharply after hitting new all-time highs at 2838. Small cap stocks actually fall first when risk starts leaving the market. Tuesday, the dollar index, very, very important to look at the dollar and what's happening with it, dropped to a multi-year low. This happened after Trump said he was not worried about a weaker dollar, and rumors of yen intervention began to spread. Wednesday, the S&P 500 sold off. Market reacted after U.S. officials denied any intervention plans, removing a key support traders were expecting. Thursday, the Nasdaq dumped next. Tech stocks finally caught up. Selling pressure increased. Friday, gold and silver crashed. This was caused by heavy liquidations and margin pressure, not a sudden drop in physical demand. And then Saturday, Bitcoin, Ethereum, crypto, XRP, once selling started in liquid markets, crypto followed. High leverage made the move worse. This wasn't random. It was chain reaction. Small cap, dollar, equities, metals, and then crypto at the end of the week. And that was, the technical stuff. But good things did happen. We had U.S. Senate Agriculture Committee advance crypto market structure bill, marking pivotal step toward clear digital asset regulations after months of industry pressure. 6 U.S. senators challenged Deputy Agriculture Todd Blanche over Department of Justice crypto enforcement unit shutdown, questioning decisions to disband team that led Binance investigation. UK advertising watchdog bans Coinbase ads for trivializing crypto risk with satirical content that made light of financial concerns around digital assets. Siri Network co-founder faces $100 million in lawsuits alleged pumping and dumping scheme where insiders secretly sold 41 million tokens after promising lockup period. And Trump nominated crypto-friendly Kevin Warsh as new Fed chair to replace Jerome Powell, setting stage for high-stakes Senate confirmation battle. And also, right, and this is not here, I'm going to add this, the potential of a government shutdown, right, happened on Friday, and then the market reacted to it on Saturday. And this was all a crescendo, all those things coming into the end of the week that we talked about that was happening there. So it will be very interesting to see how the markets react this week. But listen, there's something that is always happens in crypto crash in the history, right? But before that, I just want to remind you that this video is for educational purposes and entertainment purposes only, not financial advice. Always do your own due diligence before you decide to invest. Very, very important. Now, if you're interested in taking advantage of the markets, ups and downs, long or short, our partner BTCC will give you the opportunity to do so. And if you sign up today using my link, you get a 30% deposit bonus. It's usually 10%. So now it's 30% only for my subscribers using my link. So that's if you put in 100,000, that's $30,000 bonus on your deposit. A link is in the description down below. Please, 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 those trade responsibly. Okay. We know we can make a lot of money with leverage, but we can also lose a lot of money as well. So please be very careful out there. Please trade responsibly. And again, I will get a commission if you do use my link. So if we go back to where we're now in the crypto market kind of cycle or fear, we're now at 14 on the crypto fear. And we were lower back a few months ago, right, in in December 16th. Let's just see, where was Bitcoin? Because we know Bitcoin fuels the fear, right? So this was when Bitcoin was at 84,000 and it dropped, came back a little bit and then dropped. There was looking like there was momentum and it sold off there. Well, now we're at 76,000 and the fear is a little bit higher than where it was there at 14. And also November, we were also in similar levels here. It will be very interesting to see, are people already fearful? Meaning that it came off of, sell-offs from the high and people thought, oh, maybe we're going to recover here after the run up in December. So then we saw extreme fear. And this sell-off, people are like, okay, we've seen this kind of thing before. And it's not just crypto. It's also precious metals that sold off. It's also the markets, the stock markets that are selling off. So this is less concerning. Maybe that's why the fear isn't as extreme. I thought we'd maybe go to one digit here just on this big sell-off. It hasn't happened yet, but it could still happen. But this could be the silver lining that it always comes, right, a big run after it seems like it's the end of crypto, and they always become rounding errors in the long run. And potentially the same will happen here, right? When we look back, 2014, if we go even that far back, it's kind of, if you look at the graph, you can't even see it. But Bitcoin fell 60% on the Mt. Gox situation. Then in 2018, after the Huge run up in 2017. We had the ICO bubble burst, right? There's all these ICOs that were happening back then. And we had an 80% pullback. On 2020, Black Thursday, we had Bitcoin falling 40%. In 2022, after FTX, we saw a pullback of 80%. And now we're here, and we're also seeing, we had, of course, in the beginning of the last year, we had a 40% pullback, and then we rallied off of that. And potentially here, we could see another rally. Again, it's nothing is for sure, but history tells us that this is what could potentially happen. If we're looking at the stochastic RSI, we're at the very bottom, right? And we know that usually off of this we see a run up. It doesn't mean for sure, because you can see we saw it coming back, right, recovering, and then we had this sell off coming off of news, right? So sometimes news trumps indicators, news trumps technical analysis, and that's why we need to be very careful with that. People say, "Oh, my indicator does this, my indicator does that." You don't know, right? Indicators sometimes are wrong, so we have to take that into consideration as well. It's a tool that helps us, but we've seen that it could be wrong. Interesting, South Korea stock market extending sell-offs. We know that South Korea is very, very important for XRP. So, if that market starts selling off, maybe South Koreans start selling off equities as well, because they're down on their portfolios and they decide that they need to relieve a little bit of pressure. And we know that South Koreans love XRP, so that could potentially put some selling pressure here on XRP. We will see how that plays out as well. And we have the whole situation with Iran. My kids asked me, because last time it wasn't so fun, right? There was no school, and they were freaked out a little bit, and so they asked, is this time, or are we gonna go for another go around? Because they're already between friends, like they're saying, our parents told us that maybe this is gonna happen. So I said, hey, listen, if it happens, it happens. We'll deal with it, but don't freak out just yet, okay? There's headlines, but for now, nothing's going on, right? And so Trump also saying here, we have the biggest, most powerful ships in the world over there. Hopefully, we make a deal. If not, we'll find out if he is right? If they are the biggest and most powerful ships. And it's less about the ships, I think, more about the airplanes on the ships, right? Although the ships can do damage, but more on the coast, right? And Iran is huge. But anywho. And this is the leverage, right? We were talking about the leverage in the beginning and the potential of the short squeeze. So 18 billion short liquidation above, with only 1 billion in long. It's down at 67,000. We've also had 6 consecutive months of green for USDT, which has never happened before. They have literally wiped out over almost every single long, and they have not done it to keep sending it to 40K. All while Bitcoin is still holding its macro uptrend. Whether you're in the bear market camp or not, a very decent bounce could potentially be coming soon. I've actually also seen some YouTubers that, especially Fefe, one that he's been kind of right on almost every movement here recently, and he's talking about a potential of a bounce. We'll see. Again, we'll see. When you're looking at this and you're looking at how almost 2 billion was liquidated over the last, what was it? I think it was even more. It was like 4 or 5, maybe even 6 billion over the last 3-4 days. And it continues to come. If the market does recover, there's a lot of shorts that could potentially get squeezed. And then the same way we have these cascading rolling drop-offs, we could see potential short squeeze. So if you are short in the market, just be careful with this, because like you saw, XRP can go up 6%, then drop 6%, then go up 6%, then drop 6%. And if you're using higher leverage, right, that could shake you out. So just be very, very careful out there, okay, when you're doing the leverage trades. And Bitcoin just logged 4 consecutive monthly decline for its first time since 2018. Remember, that was a very bad year coming off of 2017. That was very, very good. And so 2025 wasn't very good. So potentially maybe 2026 will be good. We'll see. This is, again, something that history sometimes repeats itself and sometimes it doesn't. Remember, everyone's like, oh, October, look, October, it's always green except 2018. Well, yeah, 2025, it was red, right? And so things change, things shift, things are dynamic, and you need to remember that. And again, also, this is something that we'll have to see how this holds. Now, most investors, or the average investors, according to asset manager Bob Elliott, the average dollar invested in BlackRock's Bitcoin ETF (IBIT) has turned negative. Bitcoin's weekend sell-off pushed prices into the mid-70s, tipping IBIT investors' returns into the red. So meaning that most had bought IBIT at higher prices are now in the red on average. And again, this is a tipping point to see here, will IBIT investors or ETF investors that are not regular crypto investors, or some of them are, but most of them are new crypto investors that are bringing money in from, IRAs and 401ks and things like that, money that could not get out to the crypto market if otherwise. Will they buy the dip? Will they hold? Or are they going to freak out and sell the dip and then maybe buy later on at a loss? We'll potentially see what happens here. Or maybe they're smart. Maybe they're selling, into the dip, and then they'll buy back at lower levels. Who knows? Again, it's a very interesting and dynamic market, and you have to decide day to day how you're going to approach every single movement. I think we might be very, very close, depending on if there's a regional war and all that. Although it seems that most of the sell-off has already happened. Even back when the previous conflict happened, there was a pre-sell-off, right? And so when it happened, there was a little bit, but it wasn't too bad. I think a lot of the longs have already been flushed out. So even if something happens, I don't think it's going to be too, volatile to the downside, but we'll see. Again, anything can happen. This week is going to be very, very interesting. Don't forget to smash the like button, subscribe to the channel, check out the link to BTCC in the description down below if you're interested in leverage trading. And smash the like button. You can drop a super thanks if your heart desires. Thank you for watching. I hope to see you next time. And like I always say, let's make a lot of money.